Hey there, this is Wythe Marshall from the Stillfleet Studio. We put together a little podcast called Why We Roll, and now we're very proud to be part of the network Podderation. So if you're listening to one of Podderation's other great shows and you're interested in TTRPGs specifically, that's tabletop role-playing games, you might be interested in our show. Why We Roll is all about how you make TTRPGs, what makes them fun, different kinds of stories you can tell with TTRPGs, and even the business, so the practical advice side. So if any of that sounds appealing, whether you're a GM, you want to design your homebrew game, or you're interested in getting in the industry, why don't you head over to Why We Roll, check us out. We really, really appreciate it, and keep making awesome stuff.
Welcome to Board Gamers Anonymous, the podcast where everyone is welcome at the table, but of course, as always, especially during this holiday season where it's between Christmas and New Year's, and you never really know what day it is, it's kind of weird, so definitely sitting at the table is super odd, so no one knows whose turn it is. This is Chris.
Hey, and this is Anthony.
And this is episode 560, the BGA Awards for 2025. We'd like to thank all our patrons for helping us unlock a brand new episode. Hey friends, it's that time of year. We're getting down to the final days of 2025. Before it leaves us, we want to honor all of the wonderful tabletop games that we got to the table this year, and to let you know about the BGA Awards 2025, Anthony.
Yep, it's that time of the year. It's the very last episode of the year, on the very last day of the year, by the way.
Whoa.
If you're listening to this on New Year's Eve, I guess you don't have plans like me at home with the kids. But yeah, no, this is our chance to kind of celebrate all the games that came out this year.
Yeah.
And the best in a whole bunch of different categories, talk about what we played and what we loved and why we loved them, and give out our awards, which we do every year. So definitely check out stuff here if you haven't played it yet, because this is all very good stuff. And then next week, small preview, we get to jump right into our most anticipated for the next year.
2026.
So put a bow on it this week, and then next week, straight on to all the new stuff and the hotness for the coming 12 months. So it's fun. It's always a fun time of year. And like you said, this weird in-between lull between Christmas and New Year's, it's everybody's reflective. We're all thinking about the past and the future at the same time. It's the weird feeling of ennui that you kind of get.
It's true.
Where you go sit on the couch and you're like, I don't have anything to do today. I guess I'll chill for a minute. And 6 hours later, you realize you haven't moved or done anything. And you're like, all right. That's what we're doing with the podcast. We're looking it back. We're looking forward. We're taking some time to reflect and think and just be in this moment. So yeah, awards this week, new stuff next week. It's good to have you all with us.
Yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed your holiday season. We're so glad that you joined us here on the eve of New Year's Eve. And if you listen to this after New Year's Eve, Happy New Year 2026.
Yes, a lot of you will be. So yeah, Happy New Year. The New Year is here. Hopefully it's a good one.
Yeah, so take these wonderful games that we are awarding in 2025 with you into the future, where you can play them and they're fun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This is the funny thing. Like every year I look through, I'm like, what games did I play this year? Let's make the short list. We'll do this. And I'll go through month by month in my app. And like the first 2 months of the year is like, well, that's from the year before. And that's from the year before. And that's like the new stuff starts showing up in like March. So
it's a weird system when it comes to tabletop gaming, especially with all the crowdfunding out there, because there's like, when did this come out? It's like, okay, first off, where do you live? Second, did you back this?
Yeah. And we'll get into it a little bit, but this year's weird because there's a lot of games. Most of the time, if you go online, you look at everybody's top 10 lists, there's like an overlap of like 40 or 50 games, right? This year, it's a bigger spread because a lot of games didn't make it stateside yet. Either due to tariffs or delays, or just like, we don't know if we want to bring it over there or not. So there's a few things that we haven't had a chance to play because it's just not available to us yet, and there's other things that we did have a chance to play and it came out to us early and maybe isn't out to broader to spread yet. So it's kind of a weird in between year for a lot of things. I imagine next year hopefully is not as much like that, but we'll see.
Yeah, there was some shipping and tariff issues that threw the industry into chaos, and I know Gamma has been doing a lot to try to get things back on track. A lot of publishers didn't know what was coming out, what was going to be able to produce, what tomorrow might bring. We lost a couple of small and one very large publisher, or soon to be large publisher, who's on its way out. So a lot of weird, odd trickiness along the way. So this is a good list, but it could have been greater, Anthony. It could have been the greatest.
It could have been. I feel like we usually get a handful of games from Essen by now, and at this point this year, I don't think we have really any. So
it's true.
I was watching a couple top 10 lists last week, and it was just like, oh, you went to Essen, and you went to Essen, and you're based in Europe, and I can tell because you played all these games I want to play, and they're not here yet. Which is what it used to be, like 5-10 years ago. That's what it always was. But the last few years, it's been like a shorter turnaround time in those new games. Not so much this year.
And to be fair, nobody wants to send anything to America right now. So
now it costs them money.
Yeah. Europeans are like, yeah, no,
you guys
not happening.
Good. That's fine. Import it. Pay the tax. Fine.
Yeah. I was looking to get some tabletop gifts, and hand to God, the shipping was almost as expensive as the actual game and accessories.
Yeah.
And I was just like, whoa. Okay, so that's how Australia feels when you try to buy something.
Yeah. We're there now. Okay, it's fine.
It's like, $50 in shipping? Okay. Next year.
Yeah.
Next year.
Next year. Yeah. I know this year was weird because I looked at my shelves and I'm like, how much turnover was there this year? And I'm like, by far the least I've ever had. Like, crazy. In terms of like new games in, old games out, not a whole lot this year.
It's true. All right, Anthony, with all that said, let's actually get into the 2025 Board Gamers Anonymous Awards.
All right, let's do it. So we're gonna dive in here with the first of our awards. It's not a tabletop game. It's a digital game. I know we do this every year. Our best digital implementation. And so when we say digital implementation, we mean any digital form of a game. Yes. So it can be a Steam app, it could be a mobile app, it could be Board Game Arena.
Yes.
We've given the award to several Board Game Arena implementations. So I want to share with you some of our favorites from the year, and we'll talk about which ones come out on top. So Cascadia, this one launched back in February, way early on. So this was a Steam app that's available for the Spiel des Jahres winning Cascadia, which is a fantastic implementation of the game. It has the game, obviously, but it has a lot of different modes and elements you can go through as well to kind of explore when playing it solo. We have Frosthaven, which kind of builds on the Gloomhaven app, which is by far one of the more, Gloomhaven at least, one of the more robust and ambitious board game apps. Because it's not just like, here's the tabletop game. It's like, hey, here's a 3D model of this character moving through this space. With the rules in place, right? It's a lot. The Gloomhaven app is a lot.
Yes.
King Domino, which is like a fun, it's beautiful looking, and it just came out not too long ago, like November. And has a bunch of different challenge modes and stuff built in, which is great because it's a relatively simple game. So when you hear King Domino's getting an app, you're like, how do they do that? But they did a very good job of it. That's on Steam as well. And then a pair of implementations off Board Game Arena. We have Concordia, which is a recent release, right?
Yes. And it's what's really surprising about this, and one of the challenges with the digital implementation of tabletop games is, I guess, two things. One is, sadly, half the time, the publisher or the digital publisher takes a very good tabletop game and says, let me reinvent this.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, when they do that, it's a terrible, terrible mistake. And the other challenge when it comes to implementation of tabletop games, especially the larger Euro, big boards, epic space battles, or armies and stuff like that, is that the digital implementation does not allow you to get a sense of everything all at once. So it's just scrolling through multiple tabs, and then you're trying to remember information from other tabs and then other boards and stuff like this. And again, when you play a tabletop game, being able to see everything happening all in one vision really is necessary for success. So BGA Arena, these two games, relatively recent kind of new releases, especially why they are so good this year coming out is because both of them do the most essential thing possible is they did not reinvent, and they do fit the entire board state actually on the screen.
Yeah.
So for that reason, they're definitely deserving to be on here.
Yeah. And I should mention the second one too is Carson City was the other one
Oh,
we're
yeah.
talking about there.
Absolutely. Sorry about that. Yeah, Carson City. Huge game. If you've never played Carson City. And again, the board itself with the tiles that you have to kind of spin and rearrange and such and so forth. And there's a lot of like taking land and stuff like that. So if you do not envision the whole board on the screen, you're going to have a bad time.
Right. Yeah. And like, even then, sometimes like I just a couple days ago, I played Age of Innovation, another new release on Board Game Arena.
Sure.
Almost impossible to read some of the stuff on like it's so small. You have to mouse over everything and have it zoom in. Some games, it's really hard to get it all on there. So when they find a way to do it and they do it well, all the more better.
Yes.
So, all right. So the winner of our best digital implementation for 2025 is Cascadia.
Whoa, Cascadia.
Yeah, so Cascadia, a digital implementation of the, again, Spiel des Jahres winning, one of my favorite games of all time. Game from, it's over there on Steam. You can check it out. It's, I think, $15 and has a bunch of good stuff on it. So this is from Direwolf, of course. Direwolf being like the premier publisher of tabletop games on Steam.
Yeah, they've been doing a really good job.
All right. Next category. Best family game. So these are the games that you play with your children, with your family members who are not just already all in on hobby board games, with people that you just met. Really anybody that is interested in playing games, but maybe not to the level that we talk about sometimes. So,
and if you've got those people, excellent.
Yes, yeah, it's great. Don't be upset that they don't want to play the heavy games. Be excited that they're willing to play these ones.
Absolutely.
So here are a few very good ones that you can play with them. First up, we have Toy Battle. Toy Battle, quick little 2-player, very hot a game that's on Board Game Arena as well. Yes.
Yeah, just a bunch of little tokens, and you're just lining them up on the board, trying to take out the other person's tokens, and obviously try to take over their main castle area or try and score points. Very simple, straightforward, small board. You can play it on Board Game Arena. Generally a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a Palomori doing his thing with area control / movement on a board. So always fun. Next up, we have from CMYK Hot Streak. And this, we've talked about this a few times in the last couple months. This is the mascot racing game where you're betting on these big chunky toy-like mascots racing. If you've ever been to a sporting event, they run around the stadium.
Yes.
It's a hoot. It's a party game, but it's perfect and accessible for everybody.
I love that you say it's a hoot.
It's a hoot.
It's a hoot.
Yeah, gotta use some words occasionally.
It is true. It is a hoot of a game.
Yeah. Magical Athlete is funny that they released the update to Magical Athlete this year, which designed by Takashi Ishida originally, the WizKids version, and this time working with Richard Garfield. It's, you talk about Hot Streak, and that feels like kind of a spiritual successor to Magical Athlete, but
sure,
we get Magical Athlete 2.0 this year as well. It's a racing game with a bunch of goofy looking characters. There's a whole bunch in the box, these like ridiculous, goofy, almost Seussian looking meeples. And you roll a die, you move them, and then each of them has like a weird way they break the game. So it's chaos, which is fun, and kids love that.
It's good to have it back out here again.
Yeah. Next up, we have A Place for All My Books. I talked about this a couple weeks ago. This is a game from Smirk and Dagger, in which you are building a collection of books and managing your social energy. It's a game about introverts for introverts and the collection and reading of books. It's probably the heaviest of the games listed here for family games.
Yes.
Still accessible, but a little bit more going on mechanically.
Yeah, your family members may vary.
Right, exactly. Yeah. This might be a little much. There's a couple layers here.
Mm-hmm.
Another one here we talked about not too long ago, The Hobbit, There and Back Again. This is a roll and write adventure game where you move through the 8 different chapters representing the book, The Hobbit. And the dice faces and what you do with them change every round based on kind of the flow. Each of those chapters is a unique layout that you're filling in and the map. And it's a great way to explore the story, great artwork, and very accessible for children because it has such a limited kind of decision space.
Yeah, it's definitely made for a family environment situation.
Yeah, this is definitely made for kids.
Mm-hmm.
And it priced for kids too. It's like $30 or $40 for a pretty heavy box.
Nice.
And then last but not least, a game that just released not too long ago, and had a chance to pick this up at PAX and play it. Flamecraft Duels, Duals, the 2-player version of Flamecraft that is thematically it's Flamecraft, but it's different in a lot of ways as well. It's a 2-player only, it has a solo mode, but 2-player only pattern making game in which you're stacking these different tiles that represent the different types of dragons that you have in Flamecraft. So instead of visiting different shops, you are building out these patterns to complete these different cards. It's an abstract game, pattern building. It only takes 30 minutes. It has a very easy to put away board and box that kind of folds out into the board. And it's incredibly easy and quick to teach. Just a really fantastic, quick, simple 2-player game to get in front of children for sure, but really anybody who likes cute, colorful dragons, which is what Flamecraft did for us already as a great family game.
Sure.
All right. So our winner this year for Best Family Game is Flamecraft Duels.
Oh!
Yes, the newest one on the list takes the award. This is it really nailed it. Like, this is a fantastic, easy to get to like, I played Flamecraft already with my daughter, 2 players, had a lot of fun. This is much more accessible. It's super fast to set up, takes up a lot less space on the table, easy to teach, quick, and she was able to then teach it out to the rest of the family. And it's got the cute dragons, and that's what everybody wants.
And it's a different game.
It is a different game. Yeah. It's got a couple of elements that overlap, like in terms of like matching the different symbols. And there are cards that you're trying to complete.
Sure.
But the actual thing you're doing, the action you're taking, is different.
Very smart. Love it.
All right. Next up, we have one of our big categories. This is usually where our favorite games lie. Best strategy game.
Yes.
So first up, a game that you got to play early on in the year, with people have been talking about all year, Galactic Cruise.
Yeah, you got your worker placement in the hospitality industry, obviously in the future, because you're putting together galactic cruises. So all the fun of corporate nature workshops alongside with families having a great time on all the different planets. So yeah,
it's big, it's sprawling, it's got that Lacerda look to it. Yes. Big old box, heavy game. Mm-hmm. Star Trek Captain's Chair, a game you and I got a chance to play together. Mm-hmm. This is a kind of re-envisioning of Imperium, which was a game from David Turczi and Nigel Buckle that came out 5 years ago, and had a new version that came out last year, Imperium Horizons. And this is Star Trek. So it's 2-player only, or 1 or 2 players, whereas Imperium was 4 players. And it uses a lot of the same mechanics, but it really streamlines a lot of the stuff in it by using the theme of Star Trek, right?
Yes.
So you are a captain of a ship. You are populating that ship and multiple other ships, exploring different locations and gathering different resources and stuff. It's a very complex game, the original system. This really like narrows that scope without losing the complexity.
Very cool. Yeah, it's wonderful to see this kind of come back out and just streamline a lot of things typically when we talk about IPs, typically we talk about them like, it's got an IP, or it's kind of, something pasted on. But really here it's something that, as you said, Anthony, kind of organized and streamlines. And that's great.
Yeah, absolutely. The next one up here we have IR Children of the Sun, which I reviewed a few months back. This is the third game in Fabio Lopiano's trilogy from Osprey Games. Artwork by Ian O'Toole, exploring different cultures around the world. This is about the origin myth of the Inca. So it's among the lighter games in this category for them. Lopiano, again, working with Mandela Fernandez Grandon. They work together on Sancore. This is way simpler than Sancore, but just as clever, right? I say way simpler, but it's still a solid midweight Euro game. And the rules are straightforward. You can teach the game really quickly, but the complexity is in the execution, right? The order in which you do things and the way in which they flow together. Just a really fun, clever, accessible, and much more accessible than like Sancore, which is a big heavy lift, on par again with like the Lacerda games.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Emberheart. Emberheart is a dragon game. More dragon games. People be loving them dragons this year.
Why not, man? They're the best.
I almost got this for my daughter. She's big on dragons. So Emberheart is from Mind Clash Games. On the lighter end for them, like 2.5 to a 3. But you're rescuing, training dragons. You're getting heroes together, making a stand. There's dragon poachers. It really is like a game about building and growing the connection with those dragons. Very cute, colorful, easy to pick up for a Mind Clash game. Still relatively complex, but on their scale of things, pretty straightforward. And just fantastic artwork all the way around.
Yeah, no, it's a beautiful game, and it's a little more shrunk down from the typical kind of Super Mind Clash crunchiness.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's on par of like Ironwood, which is another one of theirs lighter from last year. Critter Kitchen also came out this year. This one from Cardboard Alchemy. I know you talked about this one early in the year.
Yeah, this was a really interesting, competition for contract completion of all of these different food dishes. And you had 3 different meeples and how they kind of activated on the different spots on the board as far as picking up food so they can make things. Again, it's one of those games that, like, from the look of it, you wouldn't think that this was a crunchy kind of game, but it's got a lot of crunch to it. It has a lot of different elements and like little mini kind of expansions you can put to it as well. So a really decent worker placement game.
Yeah, great one. Luthier, next one up. This is the second game from Paverson Games. And this one, you are making some musical instruments.
Because you're fancy like that.
You're fancy, especially if you've got the Kickstarter version. You're fancy.
Super fancy then.
All the fancy.
Yes.
So this is fun. Like, it's a new theme we don't see a lot in gaming, and they went big with it.
Absolutely. Yeah, and they delivered too. That's the nice thing about the game. It is what it claimed to be.
Yeah. It's like what they did with Whiskey, but with musical instruments and more complex.
Gotcha.
And then lastly here in this category, we have Molly House. Molly House is a game from Whirligig Games, designed by Joe Kelly, with design work by Cole Worley. This is a game nominated for the Zenobia Award back in 2021. And it's a game about playing as Mollies in 18th century London, who are throwing parties and cruising alleys and building up communities and supporting and protecting each other, but maybe not always, while these various jerks in society, including the police, are trying to find you, but also destroy the community that you're in. So there's a lot of like push and pull, press your luck elements here in terms of how you build your hand and how you kind of build these different patterns, and try to successfully throw a party, not get caught. But then also there's an element where you can kind of throw each other under the bus if it seems like it could benefit you. So it's a game that just really cleverly emulates the time and the historical elements of the time, in a way that is both fascinating, but also at times upsetting in the best possible way.
Excellent.
All right. So our best strategy game this year, our pick for best strategy game is IR Children of the Sun.
Woo!
Woo!
It's crunchy and colorful.
It is colorful. Anytime one of these releases, Tool artwork, I'm like, I hope that one wins. It's pretty. And then I play it, and I'm like, sometimes they're good, and sometimes they're not. And I'm like, oh man, I want it to be better. But this one is great. IR Children of the Sun, fantastic game. It's doing everything that these Lopiano games do, where the decision space is narrow, and you have to be very efficient and clever with what you're doing. But increasingly, especially in recent games, there's a lot of integration with the theme, and where the storytelling of the background and the history in the game are really guiding you through the mechanics in a way that, again, we see in like a Lacerda game. And you combine that with the Innotool artwork, which really brings all that to life, and it's just a fantastic experience.
Excellent.
All right, best overlooked gem of the year, our next category. So
yeah,
these are the games that we played, and we thought, hey, these are good, but we're not seeing them on a lot of lists. People aren't really like highlighting these games, or we didn't hear as much about them throughout the year. You might hear this and be like, I played that. And if you did, awesome. I'm glad you did. But not as many people did. So we kind of want to highlight some of these games that stand out to us. So let's dive in. First up, we have Roth. So you hear Roth and you think Roth, right? No, it is Roth, Wroth, like wrath, but with an O.
Oh.
So already overlooked because it's hard to pronounce.
It's true.
This is a area control game from Chip Theory Games. It's actually on the lighter, shorter end for Chip Theory. Mm-hmm. And if you've seen it at all, you know you have, because it has this bright neon pastel player space. Yes. Everything looks like it's been like spray painted on with like neon colors from like a cyberpunk 1980s. It's very cool looking. Mm-hmm. But thankfully it's also good. So you are playing as these different factions, and you're trying to control this island, right? And you do that by deploying different troops, which are represented by dice, which have different abilities based on the faction that you've chosen. You also have like smaller troops. There's not a lot of spaces on the map, so it's relatively tight. Like think like Ethnos, like a relatively limited decision space.
Sure.
And you're racing towards a certain score based on what happens each round. It's Chip Theory, so quality of production is pretty high as well.
Yes.
We got Tax the Rich. That's it. There's a game about it too. So Tax the Rich is a game from Christian Umundsen Utsby and Kjetil Svensson. Apologies if I got those off at all. But these are designers who worked on like Revive, The Magnificent, big Euro games. But this is a smaller trick-taking game in which you are trying to tax the rich. So the goal here is to the social ranks are the strongest cards, and then you're trying to flip that and have the lower ranked cards become the highest ranked cards based on like the actions you take. So it's a clever mechanic. It's engaging. Hopefully we get to see it here in the States soon. It's certainly been available at different conventions and you can order it, but nobody's picked it up yet for publishing here.
Sure.
We've got Origin Story, which if you're on the Stonemaier lists, it's probably not overlooked for you, but I think for a lot of people this one didn't pop as much. Very cool looking artwork about crafting a superhero origin story.
Yeah, and I think the artwork is really what kind of gave it a little more hidden kind of nature to it, because it's that, once again, it's kind of odd but interesting, and I do like it, that watercolor thing.
Yeah.
It's just a little more mythical kind of fate to it. You don't think of like superheroes in that kind of sense. And then it's a trick-taking game, Anthony, on top of everything else.
I know, yeah, it's funny. You look at it, you don't think that's what it is, and you're like, oh no, that's the mechanic? Okay.
Yeah. It's got that Age of Heroes X-Men game that was like the re-implementation of Lords of Waterdeep. Do you remember that kind of artwork?
Yeah. No, it's really cool. Mm-hmm. So there's Origin Story for you, which in a year with Vantage kind of fell under the radar, but it's a good one.
Yeah, took up all the air.
Yeah. Next up, we have a game that came out early in the year, and Chris, you talked about this a lot, and I eventually picked it up and played it. Beyond the Horizon. So this is a game that is based on Beyond the Sun, designed by Dennis K. Chan. But we had some other designers come in, Adam Hill, Ben Pinchback, Matt Riddle, and working with Cranio. They kind of revised it, and Beyond the Sun is in space, obviously. That's the Tech Tree game. when you're building up your tech tree in space, and turn it into a more traditional Civ game. So you're building up a more traditional tech tree based on like the flow of things over time. And it kind of hit and just fell off the radar very quickly. I think people weren't quite as impressed as they were with Beyond the Sun. My own review was like, this is good, but it's not as good as it could have been. But it's still a very clever, interesting mechanic, and implemented here in a more traditional Civ game, it feels more accessible.
Yeah, Beyond the Horizon was it was the tech tree and the game.
Yeah.
But it didn't really have anything else to it, and it was a little underwhelming as far as just like art and theme. So this was supposed to kind of invigorate it, I should probably say, in a more dynamic kind of way. So actually having that kind of explore option and the color and the story aspects to it kind of brought it up a little bit here. But again, since it, the original was out there for so long,
yeah,
it kind of just, no one even saw this at all.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And it's not like from a nobody publisher. It was Capstone, but it kind of fizzled out quickly.
It almost felt like this should have been the original, and then
right. Yeah. It's funny. It's kind of backwards.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then the last one here, a game that we had a chance to play very early in the year before it came out, Mesos,
yes.
where you play a Mesolithic leader building up your tribe, and then it's a kind of a tableau-based drafting game where you're pulling these different cards into your tableau and trying to score points based on these different factors. Clever mechanics with an interesting kind of auction-style draft based on where you place your worker, and
yes.
then some very interesting artwork to top it all off.
Yeah, it was interesting as far as like, I'm going to choose a certain pathway to score points based upon how I'm able to pull cards into my tableau, and then go with that particular path to victory. But everyone can have a different path, which is fun.
Yeah, that's great. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and our winner of Best Overlooked Gem this year, the game we want more people talking about, Tax the Rich.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Do it. Do it now.
Yeah, and the game.
Oh, yeah. There's a game, too.
Yeah, do that, too.
No, but it's a very smart. The artwork is great. It's really cool dynamic. And I'm really glad to see this really cool trick-taking game get that kind of attention.
Yeah.
Because it has been overlooked.
It has, to the point where no one's picked it up to publish yet. So do that. Pick it up.
Do that, people.
Get it out here. Let people buy this game.
Yes.
All right. Next up, we have Best Crowdfunding Campaign. So this is the campaign that ran this year or recently to this year that we found the most interesting, whether the game is out now or not. We'll talk about why. So first up, we have Sweet Lands. This is a big, sprawling, epic Euro that everybody's paying hundreds and hundreds of dollars on eBay to get because not enough people backed it when it was originally on Kickstarter.
That's true.
I completely missed this. I know we talked about it a little bit, but you overlooked this as well, right?
Yeah, this was something that I looked intensely on. We talked about this kind of an acquisition disorder situation. Super crunchy, but like the artwork and the theme of it is so contrary. You would think the two things are kind of together. And obviously it's a brilliant game, and it's something that like has that really nice crunch if you could pick it up. But eventually, Anthony, there's going to be a new printing, right?
Yeah. By all accounts, there is sometime in the next few months they'll be launching another one to get this to people. The part of the reason it's hard to find, this is a Japanese company, Uchi Bakayoa, and they had they printed 6,000 copies, but not enough. So again, if you go to eBay and try to find this, good luck.
Oh no.
It's very expensive.
Yes.
So but it looks great. It's a big, heavy game. Next up, we had here Race, A Dance of Love.
Sure. This is another brilliant campaign that they were running out there on GameFound, and it's about South Asian dance traditions. Beautiful, colorful dice and dials that kind of come together, in which you're bringing together your dance troupe and you're teaching them all these different dance moves and how it kind of authentically works together, how they combined and how they play out the different dancers and how they can kind of link together for that kind of love match there. It's a brilliant, beautiful, colorful game with a lot of crunchiness to it. And they did a really great job of putting this out there from Arcane Wonders on GameFound.
Yeah, that's a fun one. Next up, we have it's not a game, but it's some cool stuff for a game. The Obsession Rules Compendium, Victorian Big Box, and Playmat.
Yes.
So this is from Kayenta Games, which is Dan Halligan, the designer of Obsession. And people have been asking for a big box because there's been a lot of expansions and everything doesn't really quite fit in there, right? And more importantly, a single rule book, right? Because we played this back in June with all the expansions, and we had like 11 rule books laid out that we had to reference individually for different things. Mm-hmm. So give us a single compendium that's been edited where everything's referenced to itself, easy to go through on a spiral bound. Fantastic. Also can get a playmat with this if you want. So Kayenta, always amazing. They do right by their fans. This is affordable. It's based on what people asked for. They ran surveys in advance. There's lots of cats on the campaign. Dan loves his cats. So great campaign.
Excellent.
Next up, we have one, Dogs of War. This was on GameFound. This is an old game, going back like 10, 15 years, one of Simon's earliest, and back when it was Cool Mini or not. And this is also a shut up and sit down select or whatever they call it game. And so pointing this one out because it's from Play to Z, which is a relatively new publisher, but not a new publisher. Like this is Z from Z-Man Games, Zev.
Sure.
And then Shut Up and Sit Down Presents, which is a new kind of imprint on that. And they had, all the extra stuff upgraded, everything on there, relatively affordable. You can get a base game for like $50
nice.
For a really great out of print game. And it was just a well done campaign that was not ripping everybody off.
It is once.
Nice. Yeah, it happens sometimes.
Yes, every once in a while.
Yeah, appreciated it. I backed it because if it had been literally even like $10 more, I might have said, I don't know. But for what it was, I'm like, sure, I'll back that. And last but not least, we have Cozy Cat Cafe, which ran back through July. And it is about running a cat cafe.
Of course it is.
Had a lot of buzz, a lot of great discussion. They did a good job with their community. Exclusive to Kickstarter. And it's the reason I, kind of fascinated so much. It's just, A, it captures the cozy vibes perfectly. But B, I just love that a board game can be about this. And that it doesn't matter if anybody wants to publish it because we have Kickstarter. So
it's true.
And then you have 3,000 people say, yes, I want that game. So Cozy Cat Cafe.
Love it. Do it.
All right. Winner this year. And all of these are amazing. So they're all winners. And, they all funded. So even more winners. Obsession, Rules Compendium, Victorian Big Box, and Playmat. Because we love Obsession. We love Kayenta Games. One of the best publishers on Kickstarter, has always done an amazing job with people. And this campaign is literally just, here's all the stuff you guys asked for, exactly as you asked for it, as cheaply as I can get it to you.
Nice.
I always appreciate
so much. It's a great idea. And again, that's what you really want to see with campaigns, is that the game is well laid out, well explained, provides the right information, obviously provides information that's legitimate, independent kind of reviews and previews, and a publisher that really does care, especially now more than ever where everything is so insanely expensive. It's greatly, greatly appreciated when they do that. So well deserved.
Yeah, like they could have gone in here and been like, all right, well, we'll give you a big box, but you have to buy all the stuff with it, right? Which is what everybody else keeps doing. They're like, oh, but we changed the art a little bit, or we upgraded some stuff. It's $197. And Dan was like, no, it's $60. You get the big box, you get the playmat, you get the new rule book, everything's there. I'm cool.
And it's solving one of the fundamental problems of just expansions where like you can't get everything together. How does this interact with that? Again, it's just one of the fundamental problems of all of these things. And he solved it without breaking the bank. And we appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. All right. Next up, we have our best cooperative game of the year. So we have a couple of IP-based games to start with. The Lord of the Rings Fate of the Fellowship. This is Pandemic, but Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
And it is exactly that. I have played this quite a bit recently. So it hasn't quite got a review on the show yet, but maybe we'll talk about it in a couple weeks. But
Dave's played it a lot.
Huh? Dave's played it
a lot.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get Dave on for that one.
Yeah.
it's a great show. It's a great game, and it really does capture the feeling of trying to destroy that ring. So
Yes.
Next up, we have the Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the Second Era, which is a big, sprawling, epic cooperative adventure game from Chip Theory, based kind of on the core framework of Too Many Bones, but with a lot of new, interesting stuff layered on top of it. And the game really feels like it captures what it means in Elder Scrolls to build up your character. Like,
Yeah.
I've played plenty of Elder Scrolls games. I don't really remember much of the story of any of them. What I do remember is building my unique character and, leveling up those stats and getting those abilities and doing all that cool stuff. And that's what the board game feels like. Iridia, The Paths We Dare Tread, famously the game that we talked about for 6 months straight.
Yes.
Because of our draft early in the year.
Yes.
So there's that one. Core of Discovery, a game set in the world of Manifest Destiny. This is a game that is basically it's a cooperative deduction game in which you're exploring America kind of in the 19th century early on, Lewis and Clark, but, with monsters. So,
as you would.
Yeah. You're finding and killing monsters, but you're also completing various challenges that require all these different resources. You're allying yourself with like indigenous peoples. You're exploring the different areas, and it has a lot to say about the time of Manifest Destiny, which is a certainly challenging point.
It's monstrous.
It is monstrous. Yeah, like the game is reflecting that in a lot of interesting ways. This is from Jake Cormier and Sen-Foong Lim, who've done a lot of stuff together. We have games, that like Lim, for example, worked on Belfort, Junk Art, Mind Management. And the publisher here, Off the Page Games, also worked on several similar like oddball, outside the beaten path type games. So, there you have it. Some cooperative games. And our winner of Best Cooperative Game this year, the most interesting that we think you should play, is Core of Discovery, a game set in the world of Manifest Destiny.
Excellent.
Yes, just such a fantastic, quirky, weird little game. Like, I first hear about this and I'm like, oh, it's Manifest Destiny. You're traveling, you're Lewis and Clark. There's some weird stuff going on out there. And they're like, no, it's that, but also it's a horror movie. But also, you're also trying to figure out what's going on. Like, you need to find these resources, and there's like a deduction puzzle to find them, and it's a cooperative way the game plays out. The artwork is like weird and kind of creepy, and then like these characters are kind of badasses. But yeah, it's just like such a cool, unique mix of things. So there you have it, folks. Best co-op.
There you go, buddy.
Next category here, Best 2.0 release. So we define Best 2.0 release as games that take an original formula and put a new spin on it. So not necessarily like a reprint, but like an update or change to the core mechanics in some way. So we have Finspan, which is kind of a 3.0, but sure.
Yes.
Right? It's Wingspan plus Wormspan plus now Fish.
Yes.
Star Wars. Sorry, go ahead.
Something you never thought you would say in a sentence.
Yeah, Wingspan plus dragons, but maybe also fish. Yeah.
Yeah.
Star Wars Battle of Hoth, which is the command and color system, but like maybe 6.0.
Sure.
They've managed to boil this down into like a 30-minute game. Great production. It's Star Wars. It's fun.
Yes.
Star Trek Captain's Share, which we talked about a little bit under Best Strategy Game. This is the Imperium formula, but this is definitely a 2.0 of that. Magical Athlete, we talked about under Best Family Game, an update for a fairly old game, modernized in a lot of ways. Richard Garfield working on that. Sanctuary, a smaller, more accessible tile-based version of Arc Nova.
Yes.
And Railroad Tiles, which takes the smudgy, dry erase Railroad ink and turns it into a tile laying game.
Sure, why not?
With a similar mechanic, and it works pretty well. I've talked about it a little bit here.
Yes.
All of these doing some interesting things. Our winner for Best 2.0 release, Star Trek Captain's Share.
Whoa!
Yes. So this is a game that just nails it on every account. Like, Imperium, it's doing a lot of things. It's a very complex game. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic, but every time I played it, I had to like relearn the rules.
Yes.
Because there's just so much going on. You got to like reread it every time you play a new faction. Star Trek Captain's Chair manages to keep all that and
Mhm.
yet still simplify and streamline things in a way that makes it more accessible. So,
Yeah, 100%. All a great year for 2.0 releases, hands down.
yes. Yeah. All right. Next category, best solo game. So these are games you can play by yourself. And in the past, we've said, hey, this should be games that are designed as solo games. But some years we don't have that many of those. So
I know. What's up with that?
I don't know. We have a lot of games that are really kind of just designed as solo games, and then they say you can play with more people, which we'll get into that. So we have Vantage. We mentioned this before when we were talking about Origin Story. Vantage is the new one from Stonemaier Games, Jamie Stegmaier in particular. Adventure game. By all accounts, plays best at 1, but can technically on the box play up to 6, but why would you do that?
Don't do that, man.
Don't do that. It's a bad idea. Star Trek Captain's Chair is a 1 to 2 player game. Plays great at 2, actually, but also plays great at 1. I've played this a lot solo.
Excellent.
The Anarchy is kind of a update and expansion to Hadrian's Wall, which is a big, sprawling, complicated roll and write type of game. This is like that, but even more complicated. It's streamlined in some ways, but more complicated. And you're building up walls. It does play 1 to 4, but I've played it as 1. Fantastic as 1. The Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the Second Era. This is, we talked about this under cooperative games. It's the Elder Scrolls.
Yeah.
And it is multiplayer co-op, as all these are, but often they play very good as 1. This is one that I've played a lot as 1 so far, and I think it works really well. And then Unstoppable, which is the new in the Solo Heroes line from Renegade Games, is just a really interesting, fascinating expansion of just that core design principle that they've had. So This is a game that it's a roguelike. It says 1 to 2 as well, but it's really just a solo game.
Sure.
And it's designed by John D. Clare, who you all know from like Space Base and Mystic Vale. And a lot of his games have big solo stuff.
Definitely.
So, best solo game this year, The Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the Second Era. So, is this one legit, like similar like last year we talked about Slay the Spire? It feels like you're playing a video game, but it's adjusted and tweaked it to the tabletop and how you want to play solo at the tabletop.
Yes.
Works really well in that regard.
Nice.
All right. Next up, penultimate category here, we have best expansion. So, first up, a couple from CGE. We have Lost Ruins of Arnak, Twisted Paths, which adds two new maps, like more branching paths, some new ideas and mechanics within the research track. And then SETI Space Agencies, which adds the much requested asymmetrical starting abilities to the game, as well as some like quick start cards that kind of speed things along. Sea Salt and Paper, Extra Pepper. Sorry. I know this is expansion to one of your favorites, right?
Yeah, Sea Salt and Pepper's great little card game. I think it's going to be one of the classic modern day classics out there. And this expansion's fun because really all it does is just add one kind of global event, which is, we've talked about this when it comes to expansions. Like, there's a lot of different types of expansions. Global event for that round. Now your crabs do double the decks or something like that. So, yeah. And sometimes that's all you need.
Yeah, no, that's fun. Clans of Caledonia Industria. I talked about this a few weeks ago. This is the big, like, 6 or 7 module expansion for Clans of Caledonia.
Fantastic.
All the good stuff added in there. You got new clans, you got new options, you got all this new stuff, plus a whole new sideboard. Very good stuff. And then Twilight Imperium Thunder's Edge.
Ooh.
So this is a big box, $130 expansion for Twilight Imperium. The second full one for the 4th edition. And it adds a bunch of new stuff, right? Just right out of the box, right? But it also adds a whole new game mode, Thunder's Fall, that I haven't had a chance to play it yet, but I've only heard good things from the people I play Twilight Imperium with.
Yes.
My experience with this so far has been, it seems brilliant. There's a lot of cool stuff in this box. I think this expansion is really for people who play the game like twice a month, right? I have a hard enough time keeping everything in my head for like the base game plus Prophecy of Kings. But we're throwing all that other stuff in there, and I'm like, wow, brilliant, great. Not for me, I don't think, unless I can start playing this game a lot more often. So I love that it exists. And it's essentially a whole new game as well in the box. which is a great expansion.
Absolutely. It's really great to have, and I'm glad that it's out there fully.
Right. All right. And the winner here for best expansion this year is SETI Space Agencies.
What?
Yeah. I mean, it's the expansion we said we wanted. They made it.
It's true.
It does everything perfectly. Like, a lot of these are very good expansions, but some of them have stuff in them I like more than others. SETI Space Agencies, everything in the box is good. It's affordable. It does everything I'm asking it to do. It makes the game much better. What more can you ask for?
Yeah, this, just like the 2.0 releases, the expansions this year have been phenomenal. And like I said, mentioned before, we've done an episode on this. Like, there are different types of expansions. All of these games in this categories have upped the base game. But SETI, Space Agencies, especially for me, was like, I really liked SETI a lot. But I was just like, it's kind of there. Like, if only it had a Prelude expansion. And you know what? They did it, folks. They made a Prelude expansion for SETI, and it's awesome.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, so it is our expansion of the year.
Yay!
All right, last category, the big one, Game of the Year. We have 10 nominees here.
Ooh.
So let's start it off with Stupor Mundi, the game you played
buddy.
and reviewed early in the year.
Yeah, played the physical copy in person, all the different boxes. Played on Board Game Arena. You could play solo, you could play multiplayer. Really kind of cool, worker placement action around the sides, and then you're building up these castles, which is a lot of fun. Anytime you can build a castle, done. It offers a lot of different paths of victory, scoring points, just a generally good kind of quality game.
Yes. Next up is another one you talked about, Biome.
Biome is a lot of fun. A friend of mine picked up the Kickstarter here, and we always like to play games that are just such rich in theme. And this game got compared a lot to Wingspan, and for good reason. But this game does something a little more, where it just really incorporates the nature theme of all of these animals producing offsprings, the predators, the different seasons that come into play, and some really cool, interesting, dynamic kind of player pieces, like including actual little nests for all your little baby birds and animals. So, it's really a surprising game.
Yeah, wonderful. Toy Battle, we talked about this earlier. It's just a really fantastic, quick, easy, accessible 2-player back and forth game.
Mm-hmm.
Galactic Cruise. Anything additional added to this one?
Yeah, it's another crunchy Euro with all the good fun pieces to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Shackleton Base was a pleasant surprise for me, and I almost put it on the Overlooked Gems, and then I realized everybody else is talking about it. This is a game in which you're colonizing the moon, but your work is part of a company. You come in, there's multiple organizations you're engaging with, so it has it kind of feel like almost like Sky Mines, or before that Mombasa, of like there are different companies you're interacting with. Those are not you, but they have different requirements and goals that you're trying to achieve, and you score points based on what you do with them. And it's different every time because there's 8, but you only use 3 in each game. Very fascinating take on that.
Excellent.
Lord of the Rings Fate of the Fellowship, we talked about this earlier, is Pandemic with Lord of the Rings. Don't want to give this short shrift. Obviously, that's kind of like just be like, yeah, that's what it is. Ta-da. But that is what it is. It's just like a very good version of that.
Yeah.
And a fantastic Barad-dûr Dice Tower.
Oh,
yes, very good. The Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the Second Era. Talked about this before as well. Again, it really feels like the Elder Scrolls at the tabletop, which is impressive because that is such a big, sprawling, epic sandbox of a game. And the board game feels like similar.
Very cool.
IR Children of the Sun, one of my favorite Euros of the year. Again, not quite as complex as like Sankore, but has a lot of the same vibe to it. Flows very smoothly, very pretty game. Tool, Osprey Games, again, a fantastic production here. And then finally, the last nominee here, Star Trek Captain's Chair. We've talked about this one in several categories. It's the perfect implementation of Imperium. It's one of the better Star Trek games out there.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's got all the bells and whistles on it, but at the same time makes it very, very streamlined and has like a serious crunch to it.
Absolutely. Yeah, the fact that it's so complex on top of streamlining things to make it easy to teach, just wonderful. All right, our game of the year for 2025. Our favorite of this bunch, these wonderful bunch here, Star Trek Captain's Chair.
There you go, buddy. Did it.
Yeah, it's not only the best 2.0 release, it's the best 2025 release for Board Gamers Anonymous. I don't know that we've ever picked an IP-based game. I don't want to say that for sure, because maybe we have, but I don't think we have. And I think it takes a lot for an IP game to elevate to the point of like, no, these mechanics are sublime, they're accessible, they're easy to teach, they're a perfect representation of the theme. They take everything you want in this type of game and they do it in a way that makes it accessible. Lowering it from 4 to 2 players is perfect, I think, because it makes it more interactive without making it too interactive. It is, again, I've mentioned this before, this is the game I've played the most this year of the games released this year. By a lot, by like double. So like, I've played each of the captains in this box solo at least twice, and I've taught the game to several different people, including yourself.
Yes.
And just have had a blast with it every time. Like, I don't think I've had a bad play yet. So it's just, you always feel like you have agency, you can do cool stuff. Sometimes it takes a while. There's a lot of AP, but again, I think that's why it's brilliant to make it a 2-player game, because you're not sitting there waiting a half an hour for everybody to take their turn. Just, the 10 minutes for your opponent to take their turn. So it's a really fun, quick, clever. No, quick's the wrong word. Streamlined, clever game.
Yeah, and I think the reason why typically we haven't had IP games as the game of the year is because I would say 99% of the time, with this exception here, it adds an extra level of complexity that, again, more times than not, the game should not need or does not need, or sometimes it's problematic on some level. And here, Star Trek Captain's Chair, again, you don't have to be a Star Trek fan. We've talked about this a lot with IP games, that like sometimes the IP is the game. So if you're not into the IP, you're not going to fully enjoy the game. Here is a very weird, strange, wonderful, unique situation where the IP actually does streamline, gives it some thematic direction, and brings it into a more accessible form for everybody involved. Like, really, all you have to know is there are spaceships, there are crews of spaceships, there are planets out there, and then there are keywords that you have to keep an eye on. And that's pretty much it. And again, it allows that game to be accessible for everyone involved. So, fantastic.
Yeah. No, I'm just looking back, actually. The last time, and the only other time we gave a game of the year with an IP on it, was War of the Ring, the card game.
Wow.
And it has a very similar vibe to this, in the sense that the theme of the game, the IP, serves the mechanics and helps to integrate those with the play of the game. Like, it's such a deeply thematic, integrated, smooth experience. Both of these games are. So apparently that's what we're looking for, folks. If you're making an IP-based game, make sure the mechanics match the theme, and vice versa.
Yeah, it has to not be an extra burden. It actually has to be a plus on some level.
Yep.
Well, there you go, everyone. BGA's awards for 2025. Hopefully all of you get a chance to play these great games out there in the upcoming year of 2026. Hopefully you've gotten a chance already to play them in 2025. And again, as always, we are so incredibly thankful for each and every one of you out there who've listened. 2025, excellent year, Anthony. And we're looking forward to 2026.
Fantastic. Yep. No, it's been wonderful. As Chris said, thank you all. Have a happy new year. And we'll be here next week with more games.
More games! We're going to do it another year? We're going to do it another year.
Yeah, at least one more week of another year.
All right, everyone. Until next year, this is Chris.
Hey, and this is Anthony.
And we'll save you a seat at the table. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Hey there, I'm Hugh from Poderation. If you like today's episode, why not check out The Next Session, your D&D agony aunt's there to answer all of your questions. Join Adam and Alyssa as they answer questions sent in by listeners like you about how to solve the problems that come with running and playing in all sorts of different tabletop scenarios. Available wherever you get your podcasts.